how Mappa fixed Attack on Titan's weird ending. Did they fix it? If why the hell is Gojo here? Anyway, is that Gojo? Am I tripping? Anyway, that brother's everywhere. What was I gonna say? If this is them fixing the ending, which by the way I didn't like at all. Oh, I am currently rewatching Attack on Titan, so I need to give it another rewatch. I still haven't rewatched the whole ending. I'm assuming they changed the manga's ending. That's the only thing I can imagine. So I'm very curious. This video is by a guy called Cogsy. Go check him out. And this is how Mappa fixed Attack on Titan's weird ending. Did they?
Mappa has done the impossible, ladies and gentlemen. They managed to salvage Attack on Titan's ending, aka the worst ending in all of manga. So how did they do it? In chapter 137 of the manga, there is one panel that broke the internet. What you are seeing here is Zeke being decapitated by Levi after he was reborn on the founding Titan. Yep. Disgusting. Here we have a perfect shot of a completely naked Zeke, and yet his ass is conveniently obscured by smoke. But then, Mappa listened to the fans, and in the anime, we can see Zeke's perfectly rounded ass cheeks on full display. The Attack on Titan anime has finally come to an end, and unsurprisingly, they totally reworked one of the most important scenes from the manga. You know, it's been almost 3 years since the final season premiered, and I was an anime-only consumer for a long time. But I think it was after the final movie Part 2 got announced that I finally got fed up and just decided to read the manga. I felt like a kid doing something I shouldn't. I was so absorbed in the story that I just had to know how it ended. And then I found out and I was like, huh? It felt so rushed and incomprehensible. Everything happened in like 10 pages and then it was over. There are 2 big ways that the anime ending was fixed. Well, there are more, but I'm just going to talk about the biggest ones that I personally saw. And the first of which is the pacing itself. This movie comprises only 5 chapters of the manga, and the entire final half an hour of it is solely dedicated to the last chapter. Imagine being a manga reader and this whole massive story that took 10 years to complete ends with this sequence of Eren and Armin talking, and then everyone thanks him after they just spent the last 40 chapters trying to kill him. And then the narration is just like, oh, and that conflict never ended. The end. And I read all of that in...
Oh, that would piss me off.
Thanks him after they just spent the last 40 chapters trying to kill him. And then the narration is just like, oh, and
this fight won't end until either the Eldians or the rest of the world is wiped out.
That conflict never ended.
That is a beautiful drawing though, holy shit.
The end. And I read all of that in like probably 3 minutes. But seeing everything play out in real time, I actually understood what was happening. Mikasa killing Eren was animated so well, it gave me a genuine appreciation for what Hajime Isayama was actually intending. The other thing they fixed was a direct overhaul of the aforementioned scene of Eren and Armin talking. This scene sucked balls in the manga, and it all culminated in this really stupid line where Armin
I was just about to say, is that
being a mass murderer for our sake? What the fuck? Who is this imposter? Where is the real Armin Arlert that just punched him in the face? Now, as it turns out, this manga scene was really just not Isayama's intentions at all. And a few days ago, there was this really good interview with him where he clarified that exact line. My thinking there really wasn't that Armin was trying to push Eren away for the sake of justice or whatnot. It was more that he wanted to, in a sense, take joint responsibility. He wanted to become an accomplice. In order to become an accomplice, Armin had to make sure that he used very strong wording so that he could take those sins upon himself. That is not conveyed by this, but this makes sense to me. They completely scrapped the mass murderer line, and instead they expanded it into a whole monologue where Armin tells Eren that he shares responsibility for planting the idea of freedom in his head in the first place. The scene becomes
becoming a monster.
Armin finally understanding Eren's intentions and embracing him one last time.
If you remember, because I'm rewatching the Attack on Titan, and bro, Armin was one of the first. People might forget this. He was one of the first to switch. His conversation with Jean on top of the tree If anyone can remember that. He was like, yeah, we've got to be, I can't remember the exact lines, but he was like, to beat these, we have to become inhuman or inhumane. Something, or basically we have to become a monster to defeat the monsters. And that's when he switches and he's talking to Bertold and he's like, we've got Annie. We do. And then suddenly, when Erin's like, all right, let's become a monster, everyone's like, nah, we were joking, bro. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that.
Recognition that he, too, had a part to play in this
we were just joking, Erin.
Story. And it was around here that I started realizing things that I never caught on to the first time around. Erin was never bound by some complex time-traveling law to destroy everything. He did it because he wanted to. From the very beginning of the story, he knew he had to fight to be free. It was one of the first things he ever told Mikasa. Do you remember Kenny's dying words?
Oh,
Every
such
last
a good scene.
I've seen was the same way. Whether it was booze,
I've just seen this
God,
scene.
family, the king, dreams, children, power, they couldn't keep going unless they were drunk on something. Eren wanted the outside world to be an empty canvas, but it turned out to be already inhabited by the very people that trapped him in the first place. He's a person who fights to be in an empty, free world. He finds himself in this never-ending conflict.
Just like me, for
two
real.
Solutions. Zeke can kill the Eldians, or he can kill the rest of the world. Is it any wonder he did what he did? None of this is random. This was all foreshadowed from the very beginning of the story. But then, the Titans are gone, and yet people are still fighting. Why? Because that is what people do. That is the point of the story. This brutal, Ouroboros cycle of domination and subjugation that has existed since the dawn of the species. Armin and the Survey Corps accomplished exactly nothing by stopping Eren, but they can always continue to try. That is the only glimmer of hope. There are two themes at play here. On the macro level, humanity marginalizes and tribalistically fights itself. But on the micro level, we're all not so different, and despite how hopeless and nihilistic reality can seem, there's always a reason to live. That is what Armin finds in the sand.
Oh my god, I hate the season 4 look, the look of season 4. Is it just me? Have I officially become a weeb? Oh man. Bro, I'm currently watching, I think I'm just at season 3 episode. Oh man, I just watched a great episode. It is when Erwin is standing on top of all the bodies of his fallen comrades. Yeah, man. What I don't understand is, I know everyone's going to be like, oh, it's a dark season, the show can't have colours. Well, what's this behind him? Look at this beautiful colours, beautifully saturated. And then Armin's just here, and he looks like he's not been coloured in. Does that make sense? It was such a weird design choice. And then just the non-stop scratches on the face. I don't know, it was just weird. It was just weird. Again though, I am currently rewatching it for the first time, and I actually can't wait to get to season 4 and see what's going on. But I never knew the manga was this bad. I never knew the manga just had a weird, horrible ending. I did not know that. The thumbnail perfectly represents the changes. AOT Season 3 part... I'll be honest, it's an amazing anime arc, but AOT Season 1 to 3 all together is just absolute peak television. It just is. It just is. I am not going to lie, I remember reacting to AOT, and I remember saying, this is going to be such a hard show to end, and I just knew it was going to be. And obviously it didn't help that they ended it really weirdly with like all these part 1, part 2 endings, part 3. They didn't help themselves for a show that was already going to be difficult to end. But yeah, anything that has time travel and, you know, it was such a complex show. So shout out to Isayama, right? Like, shout out to him. He still wrote an amazing piece of fiction, like absolutely amazing. But man, I don't know how you end that show. I'll be honest. All I'm pissed off about is Jean and Mikasa didn't get married. That's all I cared about. I'm a simple man. Maybe the real peace was the end all along. He did get really... Yeah, he just got philosophical out of nowhere. Oh, man. Imagine I'm just reading the comments and someone just writes, One Piece is part of the big three. No, great video. Great video. Shout out to Cogsy. I enjoyed that. Omar just really wants to watch a romance anime, but is too afraid to let us know. Guys, what should I watch? Isn't Silent Voice a romance? Isn't that what I'm going to watch? Surely I've watched a romance anime. Have I actually watched an anime where people have like fallen in love? I actually can't think of one. Oh yeah, Naruto. Yep. Naruto and oh crap, what's their name? I'm totally not scrolling up in my chat because I didn't ask this earlier. Hinata. Yep. There you go. How about that? Frieden is the closest. Bro, I actually do need to watch a romance anime. You're right. Guys, we will be rewatching Hunter x Hunter. And on that note, make sure you follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/OmarioRpg. We react to tons of stuff live. Maybe Kaguya-sama. Isn't Violet Evergarden one? We will see. We will see. I don't know how this got to me wanting to react to a romance anime, but my chat is very strong and powerful. Come on and join them and grant them even more power. And I will see you guys next time for another reaction.